Good. Questions?
Coach, was the 24-hour rule extended this week at all?
I don't think so. It is. It doesn't when it comes to you guys. All I want to do is still talk about it. So we went through yesterday. We have Sundays off for the players. I think it's good for them to be away from us and us to be away from them, win or lose. A day for them to be with their. A lot of guys live close enough to get to go home, or if they want to, family time, church time, whatever they want to do. And we meet on the only negative to that is, we go over the game on Monday and, game review, film, talk about what happened, how we can get better, mistakes, things like that. And then go outside, work out for about an hour, and then we really get into our next opponent full time today.
How much fun was it to come home to that crowd out here?
That was really neat, and as Coach Beatty would say, that's where he comes from. That's what they call a neat deal. So, it's we got wind of it, and then all of a sudden, we were on the plane. We landed, and somebody took their iPad and showed it to me. I said, "That looks like, where is that?" And they said, "That's right outside your office." So. I said, "Wow!" So that's what we're talking about. One of the reasons I was excited to come back here. Texas A&M is such a unique and special place, and the current students. The only place in the country you have 30,000 stand during the game. You get back here. I don't know how many people were there. And it wasn't early, it was 10, 11 at night, and they hung around, and our players appreciate that, and I think as happy as we were in Tuscaloosa as our players were, you could just see the people here when we got back were just as happy, and that's a great feeling.
Do you happen to remember who it was who showed you the iPad?
I don't know. It might have been Terry Price or somebody. We were just on a plane. They were like, or we got on the bus actually, and so it was. Like I said, I didn't know. It took me a couple times to look at it to figure out where it was. So they had to let me know.
Malcolm Kennedy talked about earlier how he appreciates the simplicity of this offense, that it was easy for him to pick up, and that really helped translate in terms of players' quickness. And he said what they'd been under was very complex. Could you talk about how the importance of a simple offense and and how it does make players quicker, I guess?
Well, it can. I think it's anything that you do. The complexness of whatever it is has to be in I'll start over. The simpleness of what you're trying to do is all by design. Just you build off of certain principles, and I think the complexness comes in its execution. Does that make sense? We're better off having 11 guys knowing what to do, and the guys that we're playing against know what we're going to do, than having 2 or 3 guys know exactly what they're going to do and it being real fancy and complicated. College football is unique in the fact that you have a 20-hour rule, and you can't have more than 4 hours with the players a day. And that is with lifting, meetings, and practice. And so you can quickly see how if you can't have more than 4 hours with them a day, and you have to give them a day off, 6 times 4 is 24. So you can't have them 4 hours a day every day, as opposed to the NFL where it's unlimited, or there's a lot more time. So, you have to be able to utilize your time wisely. You have to be able to have a plan that can be executed. and a plan that guys understand each other. And it's not just one player that has understand his position. The better your team is, the more that player understands everybody's position on the field, and it's hard to do that with a real thick playbook. So it's I would say that it's pretty easy to grasp, and that's a good thing. I'm glad he said that.
And Ryan said, Swope said y'all don't even have a playbook, correct?
No. Nope. Just something for somebody to pick up and put on the internet. Huh?
I went to an auction on Sunday, and you can make thousands of dollars by autographing those and selling them.
Graphing and selling what?
Playbooks for individual games.
Yeah. Well,
Just something to think about.
that's why we don't do it.
How much has Cliff Kingsbury grown since he first joined your staff in '08, and then also since he first became a coordinator for you?
Yeah, he's continued to grow. I've said along he is a really dedicated, hard-working guy. He's one of the first guys, probably the first guy in the office here every day. Always looking for new stuff, new wrinkles. Does a great job with the growth of all the quarterbacks. There's a lot of things that go into organization of a staff, and there's different ways to do things. I think he does a great job of utilizing our staff. We've got some guys in that room who have done some things at all levels, and tremendous amount of respect that they work together. But ultimately, you got one guy that's got to make some tough decisions, and he's grown through that. And you can't have a bigger stage than we've been on, than we were on Saturday, or we've been on a bigger platform than we've been on this year. So, he's continued to grow. He's handled it. With that, it's like we've said. You get a lot of credit and you get all the blame. That's part of the job. But I think the kids understand him. I think the kids he makes it fun. He's very, very critical of guys, but I think they understand that he knows and we know what it takes to win football games, and that's what leadership's all about. Now, he's got all the intangibles and all the it factor. He's going to be a great head coach one day.
Coach, how much has Manziel grown this season, and are you ever surprised at what he can do on the football field?
Yeah, we get to see him in practice, so it's kind of like your question about even about Cliff. There's a lot of plays out there that we see at practice that you guys never see. That you think some of the ones we ran Saturday were kind of screwed up, or goofy looking. You ought to see some that out there about 5 o'clock tonight and that never make it to the field. But you get to see Johnny do some things. I think where he's grown, as I said, was the spring. He was extremely careless with the football, and he'd make a great play and then and give it to the defense, and he's done a lot better job of handling the football and taking care of it and still creating offense. You look at a couple of throws he made, the vertical, the swope, late in the game, and Cliff and our understanding of him a little bit more, moving him out of the pocket, throwing the wheel, the swope down the sideline. Those are great throws, and things that he's continued to develop mechanically. But that's hard to do during the football season. I think your greatest jumps at that position are between seasons. It's hard as a young guy to get dramatically better week to week because of game plan, because of knowledge, because of all those things and mechanics. And the off season, that's where mechanics, where real film study, where all those kinds of things get better. So he has gotten better, and not only him, but that's I said going into the game last week, we were a different team week 10 than we were week 1, and that's him. That was a lot of people, and and that's coaches too. You have to have a feel for what your players can do and what they can't do, and it's hard to do that as a new staff, and in two-a-day practice. People would say, well, you ought to be able to know that a couple weeks of practice. You don't really know what anybody's going to do until the real bullets start flying, when pressure hits. And, certain people will run from it. Certain people will handle it. And so we've got a better feel for what guys can do and what they can't do over the course of the season. And, it's a coach's job, in my opinion, to put players in a position where they can be successful and not ask them what to do. And I think our staff has done a really, really good job of that offensively and defensively.
Kevin, does all the Heisman hype, from your perspective, is that something you acknowledge and embrace, or does it become a bother?
It's like anything else. That comes with winning. And, as you win, those types of things come for Heisman. Just a lot of awards come. I was at the Home Depot Awards a couple of years ago. I didn't see very many losing coaches there, or losing teams, or players off of losing teams. So, with that's handling winning and handling those types of things. That comes with it.
Is with the full knowledge that you've been around some spectacular quarterbacks, is Johnny the best quarterback you've had, or the most dangerous?
They're all different. Yeah, they're all different. I would say Johnny is probably he is completely different than any of those guys, just because of his ability to move around and create offense, extend plays. You play extenders, but then he can do it with his feet and his arm, and that's he's really unique that way.
Imagine what he's going to look like, what his game will look like when it's considered a mature game, like 2 years down the road. I mean, is he going to still run as much? Is he going to? I mean, what do you think?
We'll see where he is. We're going to continue to develop. He's like I said, he's gotten better since week 1. We'll continue to work with him, and I think one of his strengths is he's a heck of a competitor. He wants to be good, and because of that, I think he works at it.
You talk about Sam Houston State and how dangerous they are as an offense, and their options, something that you guys haven't really seen this year.
Yeah, I would say that I've got a lot of respect for Willie Fritz and what he's accomplished. I think them going to the championship game last year was a heck of a run. All you got to do is look at the video, and they're ahead of Baylor at halftime. Baylor's got to come back to beat them. They're not going to be awestruck or anything when they come in here. They've got something to prove. So, offensively, they've been able to do just about what they wanted to people, and their attack is a little bit different than what we've seen. A little closer to maybe a combination of Mississippi State and Ole Miss, with the ability to have some shotgun runs, some wildcat option principles, things like that. So it'll be a little bit certainly different than what we saw last week. That's where I think our coaches have done a good job, particularly defensively, of having to adjust week to week in different styles of attack. But we've got a lot to play for right now, and I met with the seniors yesterday and really had a great conversation with them. We've been through a stretch, and they've got 2 more games at Kyle Field in their career. And I talked to them about no one will care as much about these last 2 games, no one, as much as you guys. because for many of you, it'll be the last 2 times you'll ever play football, but for all of you, it'll be the last 2 times you'll ever play on the Cal field. And it was a good meeting, and we need their leadership right now this week, because we're still in the hunt for a lot of different things right now, and just to get back home and play, I think our guys will be excited for Saturday.
Can you talk about winning that turnover battle 3-0 against Alabama after, talking about the need to create more turnovers?
Yeah, those are going into, in our style of play, an up-tempo. The big stats, as I've said, are third down efficiency, offense, and third down defense, and turnover ratio. And, we were able to handle all those. And, we're not big on time of possession just because, of our style of play. But surprisingly, we were able to handle that too. So, those types of things for us were big. And I think the key point was, we talked all along about, we didn't have to play a perfect game. We need to play a complete game, and we did that Saturday.
How would you sum Bertolet through 10 games, and he's still been inconsistent? Is that just something you have to live with while he improves or gets through this?
Yeah, he's got to get better. We'll continue to work with him, and we'll also continue to try to develop some other guys in the program. That's just the way it is. So until someone steps forward better than him, or there's a sign that he loses his job, he's our guy. But he's struggling at PATs and field goals, but he's certainly been a big factor in our wins from a kickoff standpoint with the number of touchbacks. The other issue is that, if you look at our statistics, we've kicked off more than any other team in this league because we score more than everybody. So, that might be an issue too. He's been really good at it. But, like I said, we'll continue to work with him, and we'll work with our other kickers in the program. And if same deal, it's not, we don't give anything away here. The best players play, and if he gets beat out, he gets beat out. But right now, we don't have anybody else that's doing that.
Coach, going off the Cliff question, was there a point where you guys really turned the corner as a coaching staff in terms of adapting the personnel, not just on offense, but also Mark Snyder's ability to know what he can and can't do with the defense?
I would say after the first game, when you play Florida, as frustrated as we were to lose, you come back and you realize, on Sunday, nobody knew it, but after coming off the field, we thought Florida was a pretty good football team. We were right. And there were certain guys that handled that situation very well. Certain guys didn't over the course of the game. And a lot of those guys we gained confidence in. They gained confidence out of the game. There's some guys that, haven't seen the field since. And it's because, like I said, you really don't know what a guy can do until he gets in that arena, in that environment, when all the things that are at stake, when there is a mistake with the pressure involved. So that's just after that first game, you learn about your team, you learn what your expectations are, who you can push, who you can't, and I think that was critical for us, and the quality of opponent early, because sometimes you can be fooled by quality of opponent.
What's it like? Might have said that the Sam Houston game is kind of a no-win situation for you guys.
Somebody's going to win.
Yes, sir, I understand, but I mean, can you talk about that a little bit, or is there?
I mean, I don't.
Anything to it?
It's the schedule is what it is. They're not going to come in here and not think they're going to win either. So I don't know what you're saying. At the end of the game, it's going to say 0-0-0 on the clock, and there's going to be a winner. It's just not a no-win.
court of public opinion, I think, unless y'all blow him out, people are going to say something.
They can say all they want.
What about the secondary? I mean, they gave up some big plays in the second half, but then came back, especially late, played great, made some huge plays.
Yeah, we let some people get behind us on some double move route. We got that game was just a fantastic game from our team standpoint, from our team mental standpoint. Because I don't think I've been in a louder place at the end than I was in there in that last part of that game, and it had been easy. You talk about the goal line stand, or the 4 plays from the 6 or the 4, wouldn't have been possible if Tony Hurd doesn't still play with effort and get him on the ground. And that's the whole what we've been talking about since we've been here is the game's not over. Don't quit. Don't pull up. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I think look at those touchdown plays, even on the corner blitz, and Howard Matthews is trying to catch a guy. He lays out. He's not going to catch him. But Tony Hurd makes a tackle, gets him on the ground, ends up being as big a play as there was that night, even though he got beat deep. And so, it just emphasizes to me and to our team, hey, listen, maybe that's right. If you never know, make people snap it again, and if instead of just giving it to them, and you never know what'll happen.
What do you remember of Johnny as a high school prospect and his ability, and what did you think of his potential? That he was, it's one of those deals where everybody was talking about him. You got to see him, and once you saw him, I didn't get out to see him live. Cliff was out there to see him, and we saw the video, and I guess it's just a highlight tape, and his highlight tape was I didn't watch very much of it. I didn't have to watch very much of it. You got other things to do. Why are you even? There's a couple guys that when coaches come back off the road and they have, Coach, you need to see this. Can we offer this guy? And you watch a few plays, and you're like, why did you even show that to me? You didn't offer the guy when you were there? Oh, you want to make sure come on. You could have called me and told me about this deal. So, no, he's been that kind of player, all along. I think, athletically, he's very gifted, and it's just the challenge of playing quarterback is very, it's difficult to do as a young guy, and do it very well and handle all the pressure that comes with it. And unlike any other position, he touches the ball every play, and so the ability to make mistakes go up dramatically, and when he does, they're critical.
Coach, how much does it mean that you beat Alabama? You've got a quarterback who's kind of this rock star right now nationally. You're winning in the SEC. So what does that mean for the program going forward? I think it's, when we got here, the reason I came here was a combination, as I said early, of Texas A&M, the tradition, the resources, game day atmosphere, our location. We got, everything's in place. And moving to the SEC was the next piece, and our recruiting classes have reflected that. The closing out the class that when we first got here from December to February was a good one. And there's some good players playing for us right now as true freshmen. Our class we have going now is a good one, and the commitments that we have. And I think we have some people that were out there that were sitting on the fence on a wait and see mode, with some other programs saying, "Hey, they're not going to win in the SEC." Matter of fact, they're going to get their brains kicked in, and so I think, for all intents and purposes, we've answered that question that we can handle it in this league, and I think recruiting is going to reflect that.
And like I said, the people that were on the fence now, our phone's ringing off the hook at this point, and we got to make some critical decisions on who we're going to take and who we're not going to take, and if we can do that for the next couple 3 years and increase our talent level the way I think we can really be something on a national scope.
Coach, what was the thought process of adding Sam Houston to the football schedule back in February?
You have to remember, I'm the coach. I don't do the scheduling. But I do know this, that because of the SEC, the move to the SEC, we're very, and within a year, we were very limited on who we could schedule. Games are scheduled 4, 5, 6 years out. We had a year or 12 months to find somebody to play, and there were a lot of things involved in that. So all I know is they handed me the schedule, and I just play it. And we had to find somebody to play. We got here in December, and I think we're still looking for people to play.
Can you talk about the toughness that Ryan Swope has shown since you've been here?
Yeah, I mean he's been a great leader. He plays with a lot of emotion. You just look at. I think people watch him. What he does with the ball in traffic and catching the ball or running with it. But I said 5, 6 weeks ago, it's him how he's played without the ball that has defined who he is. All those long runs, a lot of things that Johnny's done, a lot of things that we've gotten out of the running game have been because of those receivers, and in particular Ryan Swope, because he's closest to the action. We were asking him to go in there and block linebackers and bigger people, and he's handled that and has been a real physical guy from that standpoint. But I think the one of the great moments of last Saturday and the Saturdays of the last few Saturdays is the guys the seniors who are here, and particularly guys like Porter and Ryan and the guys I sat down and talked to when I first got here, and Christian, just, hey, what are you going to do? Here's the plan. Here's where you are, and if you come back, it's going to be a real special year for you, and it has been, and that's why this week and next week are extremely important for those guys, because of what they've accomplished up to this point has given them. Put them in a position to do something really special with this year, and that's why I see those guys continuing to play very, very well and at a high level for the remainder of the season.
A couple more.
I don't think we asked you about Dustin. And speaking of that last drive, Dustin Harris's big hit on third down as well.
I forgot to mention that too. As another senior, the guys are flying around, and I didn't even know who that was. Until Sunday, and I was getting that. Well, actually, I knew when we got off the bus because he got off the bus. I was like, well, who was that? That made that hit at the 2-yard line, and it was Dustin. Said, "This is me," and I looked at him. All 170 pounds of him. Who would have thought? But that just shows you how those guys are playing, and it gets back to what I said. A lot of Johnny gets a lot of credit, and so does Mike. But these seniors have really, really made critical plays for us to be successful in big ball games, and particularly last week. And you could see it in their eyes, and that's a big deal, big transition for them. With us being here, but when you get guys like him making that play, Neely making plays in the backfield. We're used to Sean, but Swope's making. I mean, there's no coincidence that those were the guys making those plays.
Anything else?
All right. Thank you.